We are now 4 days out to the South Carolina primary, and the candidates are in full force out there. Right now, Senator Ted Cruz set to speak aboard the USS Yorktown in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Dr. Ben Carson is about to speak in Roebuck, South Carolina. Meanwhile, you've got Governor John Kasich moving on to Michigan, paving the way for that state's primary, which is 3 weeks from today. Welcome, everybody. Brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Martha McCallum.
I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. It doesn't stop, does it?
Rolls on and on.
That's right. These candidates making South Carolina a huge priority, as it should be. 50 delegates up for grabs on Saturday. The state living up to its reputation for bare-knuckle politics, and Ted Cruz going at it every day with Donald Trump.
Truth matters. You cannot simply scream liar when somebody points out the actual position of Donald Trump or the actual position of Marco Rubio. And so I will continue to focus on substance and truth and let other candidates focus on the insults and attacks.
Based on what I've learned over the last 2-3 days from very top lawyers, he doesn't even have the right to serve as president or even run as president. He was born in Canada. So I will bring that lawsuit if he doesn't apologize.
Chief political correspondent Carl Cameron live in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, just over the bridge from Charleston. Carl, good morning. Let's start there. South Carolina appears to be a four-person race. Is that what you find or not?
Well, that's sort of the buzz that's going on out here. You've got Donald Trump at the top of the polls, essentially at war with Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz in a second position in the polls. We haven't had a lot of polling here. We'll get a lot more in the next couple of days. And then you've got Marco Rubio desperately trying to take either third place or maybe even push into second. He's had a fairly good increase in the turnout in South Carolina since his New Hampshire sort of shortfall. And Ted Cruz. Last night, Jeb Bush brought his brother, the former President George W., to the campaign trail. And the word is that the former president will not be reappearing here in South Carolina, though Jeb could certainly use the kind of momentum and energy that it added to the event last night. And Jeb Bush was widely and broadly successfully reviewed for last night's remarks after his brother spoke, and made it very clear that Donald Trump's attacks on former President George W. Bush with the Iraq War are not going to be let slide. Watch.
I thought it was a little strange that a front-running candidate would attack the President of the United States, who did keep us safe.
We are here on the decks of the USS Yorktown, where Ted Cruz will be holding an event in just a while. And it really has been a four-way brawl in that Cruz and Rubio are in a fight, Cruz and Trump are in a fight, Trump and Jeb and Rubio and Cruz are in a fight, and then the question becomes, where are John Kasich and Ben Carson? Ben Carson does have an event today and a town hall meeting and a news conference, so he'll be making a little bit of news and getting a little bit of attention. And John Kasich is campaigning in Michigan, a state that doesn't vote until March. And it's the kind of move that often signals that a candidate doesn't think they're going to run particularly strong in a state when they take off out of it, as is the case here in South Carolina for John Kasich. He may not put his first W up until Michigan or Ohio, and that gets us well into next month. Whereas for Ted Cruz, a second place showing here or better is almost necessary, and Marco Rubio desperately needs to get third, which would edge out Jeb Bush yet again at fourth. But with the help of his brother and the excitement that seemed to have in the room last night, perhaps he's got some momentum that can now be grown. Bill.
On it goes. Thank you, Carl Cameron. Good analysis there. Ted Cruz out there in a moment on stage. Thank you, Carl. Here's more with